I can turn into a fish. Chapter 20, Lion Queen and Shi Koi. Chu Xian kept the image of the koi fish in his mind, pointed at the two koi fish in the aquarium and asked, "Boss, can you package these two koi fish for me?" "Oh. Little bro, you want these too?" The owner of the koi fish shop looked at him in surprise. Nowadays the people who bought ornamental fish were usually middle-aged or older, they were rarely young men. "Yes, these two. Please package them for me," Chu Xian emphasized again. "Okay, okay. Please wait just a moment," the owner nodded hurriedly. He took out an aquarium, put the two fish inside and asked, "Does this little bro know how to raise them?" "N. Don't worry, I also sell ornamental fish, but only small goldfish." Chu Xian smiled. Small goldfish." The owner's mouth twitched after hearing his words. How could cheap ornamental fish such as small goldfish compare to his koi? 8,000, right? Chu Xian asked. Yes. These two koi fish are around 70 centimeters long, imported from Japan. Look at the beautiful patterns. No bargaining, 4,000 RMB each, the owner said. N. Not expensive? Chu Xian nodded. These big koi were only worth 2 of his goldfish, they really weren't expensive. The boss's mouth twitched again. A goldfish seller actually said his koi weren't expensive, this was really something. Chu Xian paid the 8,000 RMB and didn't notice the strange light in the shop owner's eyes as he loaded the aquarium onto his moped. Chu Xian's moped was the delivery kind, very large. He was planning on buying a car if the sale was successful, and the price would depend on how much he earned this time. After returning to the shop, Chu Xian saw several people waiting in front of his shop anxiously. He walked to them and asked with wonder, "You came here to buy goldfish?" The 3 young women looked at Chu Xian and nodded and asked, "Handsome, why isn't the shop open today?" "Oh, I'm sorry." Chu Xian placed the aquarium on the ground. "All the fish in my shop have been reserved by other people, so the shop is closed temporarily, but we might reopen next week." "Ah? All reserved? No way." One of the young women looked at him with surprise and said with great dissatisfaction, "We came a long way to buy some goldfish, but you aren't open today? I'm really very sorry. Please come back next week." Chu Xian shook his head and apologized before opening his door. "This." The women looked at each other. Seeing Chu Xian opening the door, they finally asked, "Handsome, can we come inside to look?" Sure." Chu Xian nodded. The 3 married women entered after him and immediately headed to the fish tanks, faces full of fondness as they looked at the different goldfish. "Boss, can you just sell us some? The 3 of us only need 15, okay?" One of the women suddenly raised her head with hope. Chu Xian was stunned for a second as she tried to play cute. He put down the aquarium again and said helplessly, "I'm really very sorry, please come again next week. Someone has already paid a deposit for all these fish. I'm really sorry for the inconvenience. This sucks. We came all the way for nothing. So frustrating." The women said to each other. They took out their phones to take some photos and posted their dissatisfaction on WeChat. "Actually, ladies, can I ask how you found out about my store?" Chu Xian asked with curiosity. "From WeChat. A lot of friends said there's a goldfish shop on Guwu Street with very beautiful, super expensive goldfish," one of the women answered. "Oh. I didn't know news of my shop had spread so quickly. Looks like I have quite a reputation." Chu Xian felt some happiness in his heart. After a while, the 4 women left unwillingly. After thinking for a bit, Chu Xian went to a printing shop nearby and asked the owner to print a 1-meter-long announcement. After returning to the store, Chu Xian taped the announcement on the shop door. Standing back and examining the sign, Chu Xian smiled to himself in satisfaction. Announcement. All the goldfish have been reserved. For the next while, we'll have no supply. We will reopen in a week. Sorry to all our valued customers for any inconvenience. Haha. After news of this announcement spreads, some of the uncertain customers will definitely regret not buying. Haha, business will definitely pour in after reopening, it's called hunger marketing, haha. Chu Xian was very proud of his idea and laughed happily. Locking the door, Chu Xian started to remold the goldfish. Now that he was more experienced, he was able to remold 90 goldfish in less than 4 hours. Placing them all into the tanks, Chu Xian finally took out the 2 koi fish from the aquarium. He had bought the most common type of koi fish with red, white, and black coloring. The shop owner said they were imported from Japan and Chu Xian couldn't tell if that was true, but just judging from the price, these koi were the most common type. Slightly better koi would already cost around 100,000. Chu Xian took out his phone and found a couple images. After deciding on the 2 types of koi he wanted, he started to remold them according to the pictures. The size of the koi were 10 to 20 times bigger than the goldfish and were very troublesome to remold. Chu Xian spent an hour and a half on both fish, and after he finished, he watched them swim around in the aquarium and smiled. The next morning, Chu Xian brought the aquarium with the 2 koi and rode his moped to the Golden Dragon Group building. Fuck me, who'd guess that I have more than 1 million RMB loaded onto this shitty moped? This feeling is really great. Chu Xian thought to himself as he drove, immersing himself in his daydreams. Weng weng. The sound came out of nowhere, and Chu Xian felt like a roar was furiously rushing towards him from behind. In shock, he immediately turned on his control power and with his God-eye view, he hurriedly rushed to the side. However, he could see in his God-eye view that the car was already right behind him, and though he dodged in a hurry, the car was going too fast and Chu Xian felt a sudden force hitting him from the left side of his moped. Fuck. He cursed silently and quickly jumped off the moped, his entire body rolling to the side. Peng. His moped slid for more than 5 meters and the aquarium tied to the back also fell off, some of the water spilling out. Chu Xian ignored the dirt on his body and ran over in a rush. It was only when he found out that the 2 koi were fine did he relax. Fuck your mum, do you even know how to drive? You don't even know to get out of the way? At that moment, a curse sounded out behind him. Chu Xian turned around with a terrible expression and saw a young man and woman come out of their vehicle to check for any damage done to their sports car. Then they angrily stormed towards him.